Good morning. It is Monday morning, September. I don't even know what today is, but I do know it's Monday morning. It's probably the 22nd or 23rd. My wife said it's the 23rd. I am in my Father's house, and as you can see, the words, "Do you love God? Do you love God?" There you have it. This morning, I have looked at the words that are in a Bible, and I have figured out why you don't know what words are in a Bible. Because you never open it to read it. The only way that you can see for yourself words in the Bible, you must open it yourself, or you should open it yourself and read it. Reading from a Bible will not hurt you. Reading from a commentary may mess you up big time. But you won't be messed up if you read what Jesus said. Because Jesus made it clear to his disciples that he was telling them what God wanted them to know. The sign that you see reads, "Do you love God?" I have written down some things that Jesus said. He said, "See to it that no one misleads you." That's in Matthew. In Mark, the words, "See to it that no one misleads you." That's in Mark. In Luke, it says, I read, "See to it that you do not be misled," or see to it that you do not be misled. I also found that Jesus said, "You will be hated by all on account of my name." That's what he told his disciples. Those were words that Jesus told his disciples. You will be hated by all on account of my name. He said in Matthew 24, verse 9, "You will be hated by all nations." That's what he told his disciples. You will be hated. In Mark chapter 13, "You will be hated by all on account of my name." It was the same thing that I read in Matthew chapter 10, verse 22. Be hated by all on account of my name. In Luke chapter 19, 14, his citizens hated him. In Luke chapter 21, 17, "You will be hated by all on account of my name." John chapter 15, "It has hated me before it hated you." Jesus talking about the world talking about his disciples. These men, these disciples, were with Jesus for 3 years. They became apostles. They were not apostles when Jesus was teaching them. They were his disciples. Jesus was teaching them. They were later called apostles. These apostles were taught, they were instructed, they knew what God had made known because Jesus had told them. Yes, that's how it happened. Jesus said, they don't just hate me, they hated me and my Father as well. So don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Don't believe anyone that tells you otherwise. Because if you do believe something otherwise, you will not be believing the truth. Do you love God? Jesus loved God. Do you love God? If you do, I will tell you what you will do. You will obey God. That's what you will do. If you love God. If you don't love God, you won't obey him. And the consequences for not loving, I do not even want to start to try to explain to you the consequences of not loving God. But there are consequences. John, the world has hated them. In John chapter 17, Jesus has said, and he's praying, he's talking to God. He's not talking to anyone else. In John chapter 17, he tells them the truth. The world has hated them. He's talking about the future for them. He tells his Father where he wants them to be. In John chapter 17. In Romans, you can read the words, Jacob I loved, but Esau I hated. Those are words that you can read in the Bible if you open it and turn to that chapter. And for no one, in Ephesians chapter 5, verse 9, for no one ever hated his own flesh. You should not hate your own flesh. That kind of explains why mothers love their children. You cannot, it is very difficult to stop a mother from loving her own children. It's almost virtually impossible. And in Hebrews chapter 1, verse 9, loved righteousness and hated lawlessness. God loves righteousness. God hates lawlessness. I am warning people daily. Do not believe everyone who preaches, because all do not preach the gospel of God.